Welcome back, my friends, to the second Sino-Japanese War. We're going to be continuing our push over here to the west to reach those oil fields and cut off Wahe. But most importantly, we're going to be continuing to head down the coast, guys, with our Shanghai Expeditionary Force. And I also found out here, thanks to some very useful users here, how to actually land these troops. The issue is we're not going to be able to land them now because of the weather. There is a weather penalty, but essentially we're supposed to land them on these tiles with half land, half water. So we're going to do our best and try next turn. I'm also going to bring this guy down, this SNLF unit, I should say. And something like this would be perfect. Like this, unfortunately, of course, because of the weather, we're not going to be able to drop them here. And you can see it's snowing on the land, and it looks like a bunch of rain on the water. So nonetheless, my main focus is going to be pushing down the Tsingtao front and finishing the enemy off once and for all. Of course, I do want to wrap up this Chinese 17th Army. We're going to try to attack them next turn. We've essentially had the 28th Army chasing them this entire time, but I'm hoping that they will finally catch them. And of course, we're going to be proceeding along the coast here. First things first, let's get a nice attack against this unit. And in fact, I'm going to bring in some bombers for that attack. The reason being, if we could break through here, guys, and start heading to the coast, I feel like then we could also cut off the enemy back here fairly easily. And of course, we could stop any supplies from arriving. So I think that's probably the right thing to do. You know what? I might even... Yeah, I had to attack with that unit there, and we're going to push on through. Get a little bit farther than expected, actually. I'd love to bring this unit over here, but I think that's going to take a couple more turns at a minimum. So what we will do is take up that gap. Oh, I totally missed that, and I hope we can do the undo button. Yeah, undo not available. I didn't realize that's an enemy troop. We're going to have to throw everything at this guy. And of course, it's one of Mao's troops. I don't know why, but they are unbelievably strong in comparison to the Republic of China. And there we go. They are managing to hold. Despite taking a lot of losses, they are managing to hold nearly every single time. And look at that, guys. We finally captured the steel mill here. That's what I've been trying to grab this entire time as well. Push over here. And you know what? We've got a concentric attack. Should be able to send that guy retreating in terror. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to continue moving south with these reinforcements. I know I said most of them are going to go over here to the west, but we're going to have to bring some down to this front. And there are our garrison units. We can finally place them there. We'll also bring these NLF units down. And I'm hoping the mistake I'm making is not that these are actually supposed to be SNLF units, not NLF. But we'll have to wait and see. Once the weather clears up, we're going to try to do that landing once again. Because I think breaking through is going to be extremely important. Essentially getting some units behind them, cutting off their rail lines, and cutting off their port cities is going to allow us to get into China a lot easier than one would expect. I'm not stopping my attacks against those red forces. I really want to send them scurrying. But man, they certainly know how to fight. Let's switch out that unit. This one is much stronger. And again, another issue here could be the weather. We're not exactly moving much on this front. I think it's mostly weather-related. They do seem to have some pretty strong troops here. But let's see if once the weather clears up, if it's going to be a lot easier for us to move around this front. Well, with that being said, I think I'm going to end the turn. I will first check to see what units are ready to deploy. And actually, we've got the 18th Army here. This is not one of our NLF forces. So I'm going to actually drop him right here at Mukden. The first NLF, Maizuru SNLF and Yokosuka SNLF are arriving on the 10th of February. And obviously, those are the guys that we're hoping to use to get behind the enemy lines here and cause some disruption. And I'm not really sure how far down I'm supposed to go. If I'm supposed to go all the way down here, which is possible, to Haiku, areas like that, or if I'm just supposed to drop kind of, you know, a few 100 kilometers behind the line and try and assist our men that way. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, right now, we're going to end the turn and see what the Chinese have in store for us. Hope we're getting those regular supplies, and we should be, especially with those new port cities. But the most important thing for the supplies is to have those generals nearby so they can direct logistics. All right, there we go. Low oil stockpiles, and of course the fleet they're talking about without supply is this one. We could bring him back. I think it's actually probably time. Bring him back to the home port and let him get some rest and recuperation. But look at this. We still have weather effects here. It's still snowing. It's still raining. And I think for that reason alone, we're not going to be able to disembark any of these units. What I might try next time, let's see if we can also drop some units over here and see if that makes things easier. But I'm actually going to take these 2 units and head all the way over here to Haku. And I wonder if maybe next turn we'll be able to drop over here and start taking these smaller areas. And far behind the enemy lines, of course. Now, with our Tsingtao front, I want to continue pushing. This is a chance to actually get behind the enemy line. Look at that. It's the first time we've actually cut off the enemy rail. And I think it's going to make a huge difference. And now I'm going to try to chop away at that, that mouse unit there. I'm so annoyed by that red unit putting up such a good fight. Let's actually switch out these guys. This guy is fresh, the 29th Army. And you can see, man, he just refuses to be sent off the field. I'm telling you. What a beast. All right, so I'll do this. Didn't work out exactly as planned. All right, well, next order of action is going to be to try and break these units, essentially forming another offensive line behind that red unit there. We can also go past him and ignore him entirely. Or, there we go. Not a bad attack. Might keep on doing that. Just keep the pressure on him. And there we go. We finally got rid of the 17th Army. They completely surrendered. And we can bring the Japanese 28th Army back to the front lines. I love it. I feel like that breakthrough right there is going to be epic. It's going to mean a lot for our army overall. But of course, we've got to try and continue it. If we just send one unit through, I'm not sure that's going to make much of a difference. Over here in the west, I also want to make sure that these new units, because a lot of these guys are fresh now, I want them to get a chance to really push the enemy. So let's actually start moving in. Just start taking up these positions. And there we go. Sure enough, that is going to be the Communist 4th Army. Beautifully done. Managing to do a lot of damage here to this 4th Army. And even though we might not push through them this turn, I can tell you one thing. They are not going to be doing any sort of counterattack next turn. Wonderful, wonderful. I think that's going to be it. Here's that 5. You know what? We're going to bring them to the southern front. I was under the impression we were going to use them over here on the western front, but we need more and more men to give their lives here, keep on pushing south, and hopefully trap this entire Chinese army. I mean, could you imagine how much that would mean for our men? I think it would be absolutely tremendous. We still have a while before the expeditionary forces arrive. And we are also hoping for this weather to clear up. I'm hoping once the weather clears up, that's going to be the okay for us to start dropping these units, these Izumo NLF units or SNLF units. But again, I'm wondering that maybe it's a question of me using NLF and not SNLF units here. Nonetheless, that's going to be a huge part of our plan going forward. Another reason I want this snow and rain to clear up is I'm guessing that without the snow and the rain, our supplies are going to be coming in a lot more regularly. It's going to be a lot easier to get supplies than otherwise. There we go. I'm getting the general a little too close, perhaps, but I need to make sure that everybody is going to be getting a bunch of supply here. It's looking pretty good. and he's right on top of a rail tile. So I think the leader of the Shanghai Expeditionary Force, Kiyoshi Katsuki, is actually in a pretty decent position. Well, what about that, guys? We're actually also deciphering some of China's code here on the war panel. We need something called communications intelligence points. We just got a few, so we've broken some of that code. I wonder how that's going to actually help us on the battlefield here. Can't wait to see. But in the meantime, we're going to end the turn, see what the Chinese have up their sleeve. Very worried about the Japanese 12th Division. Of all of our units, this one is at 10%. They are completely destroyed. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, I feel like we've been doing pretty well here at forcing the enemy back and damaging them. And again, even if we take this rail line, of course it's going to help, but we have to cut off both of these rail lines to be able to shut down all of the Chinese forces there. So I think the 27th Army here and the 19th Army have a lot of work still yet to do. Here we go. Let's see how quick they are to respond to that army breaking through. And I would assume that they're going to do a counterattack there in the northwest. I think it's just the right thing to do, considering how weak our unit is. Look at that. Yep, sure enough, they're trying to fall back. They are trying to fall back. Of course, they've completely left the steel mills open for us, a bunch of new cities as well. But it's interesting to see that once they saw us breaking through the rail line here, they immediately figured it's time for us to get the hell out of here. Alright, low oil stockpiles. But see, since we had the fleet over here, it was fairly easy to get those supplies. Unfortunately, once again, weather is not going to allow us to drop. No way, I don't believe so anyway. See, once again, okay, we'll try to find a better hex. But it's supposed to be half land, half water. And again, we still cannot drop that unit. So what about that? Just SNLF? Yeah, I think that needs to be explained a lot better in-game. So far, that is really annoying me. But we'll check. We'll take a look at the manual again at the end of this turn, and see if we can't get those guys off. See, that's half land, half water. That should be an acceptable place to drop the unit. I'll try over here as well. Actually, this turn we can't, I don't think. Yeah, we can't. Okay, we can't try that turn, but it's not going to work again. I mean, there's definitely something we're just not doing correctly here. Maybe bringing over the fleet. Like, we're going to try everything we can. These guys have had some time to resupply. Let's bring them down. And in the meantime, we are going to continue, hopefully continue this encirclement. I'm going to keep attacking this guy. Let's actually grab the 27th Army with the 19th Army. Nice. Of course, this also means we're going to have to move forward with our generals because we will be out of supply pretty soon here. It still continues to snow on the mainland, incredibly. I'm going to take that general and allow him to rest and recuperate here in the city of Chinan. Absolutely wonderful city. Not as nice as Tsingtao, but it'll have to do. And we are just going to continue pushing down. Still want to get rid of that red unit. It looks like they've actually left him out there to suffer. But maybe we'll actually ignore him. Let's ignore the red unit. And let's continue south and see if we can't break through over here against the Republic of China unit. We'll take these units and hit that communist unit. But I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, it's just one army. When we have so many other armies here to deal with. Grab this force, put him right there in the mountains. And as for this force, he's going to assist us over here. Now, I'm going to allow our Air Force over in this area this time, near Huahe. I think with a few appropriate moves, we should be able to encircle him. So here we go. Let's take the city of Shuyang. Move up here, move up here, move up here. The only mistake I made was this one right here. Unfortunately, we cannot undo that move. Well, we're going to do the next best thing, and that is to hit this guy with every single unit that's able to hit him. It's going to be these two. It's a start for sure. But as you can see, these guys desperately need supply, and we were gonna shut that guy down now. He could be a bit of a problem. Because of the snow, we can't move over here. This area is completely snowed in. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's interesting. So there's just no breaking through. And in the meantime, we'll just keep on and continue hitting this area over here. Try to cause a breakthrough or a push at least. But I think our best bet is going to be over here in this area. Our best bet is at actually forcing a breakthrough on the enemy lines. Of course, I'm going to take that area again, Suyang, the city of Suyang. Now, as you can see, the percentage of this army is only 10%. They're not in fighting strength, but if we could still cause some logistical difficulties for the enemy by taking that area, then I am going to do it, of course. February 2nd, I believe our SNLF troops are going to be arriving fairly soon, although if we don't figure out how to use them, they are pretty useless to me, I must say. That's just annoying me so bad, because that should be streamlined to a dramatic degree. The invasion disembark hexes. Just not sure why that is. So we'll try something else next turn. That's almost enough to make me stop playing the game. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Nope, we want to continue to bring that army. Our brand new 18th Army. We're not going to leave these guys behind. And, you know, we should probably go ahead and build additional infantry armies. We're going to need more. There's just no way around that. So let me purchase this one. Purchase the 35th. Purchase the 3rd Army. Okay, not enough production. Fair enough. We got 2 armies out of it. They're going to be very useful at the front. And, of course, we're still going to be getting our reinforcements, which should help us quite a bit here. All right, turning it over to China. I think they're going to continue to fall back. And if they fall away from the coast on their fallback, I think that only works out in our favor. That allows us to take these coastal cities a lot easier. We've already taken those steel production facilities in the area. And look at that, a dead general. I don't know if you guys saw that icon. That is a Chinese general that died during this battle. They tried to attack, a counterattack. Looks like they may have taken that steel facility. Nope, it's actually the Red Chinese unit that fell back. Unbelievable. But yeah, man, one of the Chinese generals died during that fighting. That's pretty cool. Yep, there we go. Song Jian has been killed in the war in First War Area HQ. TC Shanyan has been promoted to replace them. So, one of the Chinese generals, of course, biting the dust. That's amazing. And let's go here for... Actually, before I hit that red unit, I'm going to bomb it into oblivion. You know what? I'm also going to hit this unit over here. That actually achieved a strike. Because I want to push through quickly. Not bad. Absolutely smash that guy. And another strike. This unit definitely needs some more time to recuperate. Let's put our focus on that unit right there. I mean, how much pounding can the unit take? It's amazing to me. I want to give them a medal. If we capture them, I just want to give them a medal and maybe ask them to join the Japanese army. That's just pretty amazing. Again, they continue to take hits and pretty much eat them. They are holding against every single one of those attacks, and those are successful attacks. However, as you can see, their strength is very low. So for once, we at least got their strength down a bit. But besides that, they're doing okay. Now, this should be a pretty easy encirclement and capture. And sure enough, we got the 33rd Army Group to surrender there, which allows us to push faster towards Wahe, guys. In fact, I'm almost certain that we could have Wahe by next turn. Just continuing to expand the line here. And it looks like the Chinese 6th Army is trapped against the river there. However, despite being trapped against the river, they are pretty strong at the moment. They're not exactly becoming weaker or anything like that. I think it's going to be fairly easy for them to remain in tip-top shape for a good portion of this battle. There we go. Force the 29th Root Army to retreat. And we're doing extraordinarily well on this front right now. But of course, probably still an issue with the deployment, which I'm trying to fix. Because this would be a perfect time for us to deploy behind the line. And you see, it's telling us no selectable units. But we've got the Japanese Kuda SNLF. Both of these are naval units, so they should be able to drop, we could try this. So what I'll do, guys, is in between this episode and the next, I will not end this turn. I'm going to do some research, see what we're doing wrong. It's very weird to me. But once we figure that out, the possibilities are endless. We can bring this, navy and really do some damage to the enemy. And, get behind their lines, destroy some of their rail hexes, etc. I'm thinking we would even drop some units east of Nanking and just go ahead and take yet another steel production facility. That would mean the enemy would have to retreat completely inland to be able to get additional steel production facilities. Well, I hope you're enjoying the operation so far. I think it's still going as planned, even without those naval landings. We almost have full control of the Haichao area north. I'm certain we'll be taking that next turn, and we're pushing the Chinese army in exactly what I wanted to do, sort of push them in so they're forced to concentrate here and stay away from the coastline where they're getting a ton of supplies. Thank you so much, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. And hey, if you know how to do that landing, make sure to let me know.